Welcome to Albuquerque Real Estate Talk, episode 505, mid-September
We're in
2020.
the 505,
Oh, that's good. I didn't even catch that.
and
We are
it's
in.
number 505.
Yeah, good
Here
point.
we
Yeah.
are.
Okay, mid-September 2024. Tracy, mortgage rates. We got to talk about mortgage rates. They are flirting with sub 6%. We're gonna go into that. We've got some top questions that home buyers are asking right now. And if you're not a home buyer, that's fine. But I think it might be interesting when you're talking to people about buying a home and some of the questions that are coming up so you know the answers. We did back at the beginning of the year, I did this whole deep dive into when is the best time to sell your home, best time of year to sell your home. Well, now we're going to talk about the best time of year to buy a home. And
According to Realtor.com.
according to realtor.com, but I'm going to concur with them, but we'll get into that. And then what is a buyer's market and a seller's market? There's been a lot of conversation about that lately because there's this whole question, is it still a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? We'll go into that. And
All right, perfect. We are Tracy and Tego Venturi with Real Broker here in the Albuquerque metro area, Albuquerque. And you can reach us at 505 448 8888 or online, welcomehomeabq.com. All you loyal listeners know all that already, but that 448 8888, we'd love to hear from you, see how we can help you with your real estate needs or questions. We love to hear from our listeners, right, Tego?
yes,
Then,
no, it's great.
we get some good questions and good feedback, and we really appreciate all of you out there. So, where are we starting today?
And actually, I realized there was one thing that I didn't mention in my intro there is new home values data just came out. So we'll hit on that as well because people are curious. Are home
Sure.
prices still going up in Albuquerque? We'll get to that. But first, we got to talk about,
Balloons.
you know
Yes.
why, right?
Hot air balloons. Yeah, I know why.
We I just filled our updated and completed our balloon poster collection. I now have I we now have all 45 official balloon posters hanging in our office here on Alameda near Rio Grande.
From every year that they've been created.
Exactly. So the balloon fiesta, most people know, started in 1972, so 52 years. But the official balloon posters did not start until 1979. So that's the first official year. So now 45 years there's been balloon poster or prints or art, and I've
So,
got every year now. So I'm excited about that.
so for those of you who follow us on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, you probably know because we've been posting every day leading up to the balloon fiesta every day, starting the oldest balloons to the newest. And each year, each day, we've been saying something about what was going on in that year during the balloon fiesta or that year and showing the balloon. But they're all on our walls here in our office. So if you want to come see them all, we're
I
right.
bet there's an opportunity for people to come see them Sunday, tomorrow.
Exactly. So we're having a book exchange and it's 1 to 3 Sunday on the 15th. Is that
That the
tomorrow's the
15th.
15th?
Yeah, the 5th.
On
Yep.
Sunday from 1 to 3, bring a book or not. If you want to get a book to read or whatever, we have a great assortment of fiction, nonfiction, and children's books. A lot of people have already dropped their books off in advance of Sunday. So we have a good plenty right from the get-go at 1 o'clock. But come bring
A good
books.
plenty. That sounds like you're from Minnesota.
Yeah, good plenty, don't you know?
Yeah.
So we have a lot. You can just come and get books that might be of interest to you, or bring some books to leave and take some books with you, or just bring some books to leave. If nobody wants your books, though, don't bring them, right? If they're not ones you would want to read yourself or share with your family and friends, don't bring them. I don't want your ninth grade algebra book.
Oh,
Algebra.
maybe. I don't know.
And I don't think so. But yeah, 1 to 3. So all of our balloon posters are up, or mostly. We've almost run out of room, Tiga. We're going to probably have to add on to keep those balloon posters
I
going.
I haven't quite figured it out. In fact, that is on my list today of to-dos is get the rest of the prints hung up
So they
for.
used to be in order from year. You had them all in
I
year
did.
order on our walls, but then as new posters arrived, we had to shuffle things
I had to
around.
fill in wherever I could. So anyway, they're here. Everybody's welcome to pop in and take a look if they're ever curious.
So let's get on to what you love to talk about, the interest rates where you said they're flirting with being under 6.
Yeah, well, what happened, interesting, it was, I don't know, I call it a perfect storm, but there's a lot going on in the finance world that are affecting mortgage rates. First and foremost, the 10-year treasury, which is the leading indicator of what mortgage rate's going to do, because there's usually a spread between whatever the 10-year treasury note, that's the note that the treasury sells to finance the United States, is that drops, usually mortgage rates follow. And that's what's been happening. And there's usually a spread between the 10-year and the mortgage rates. Customarily, it's been in this 1.75 or 2% range, but over the last couple of years, it's been about 3%. That spread, as they call it, is starting to shrink. So it's getting closer and closer, which there's a lot of reasons for it. We're
That's
not going to go into it,
you
but
would say that's sort of the lender's buffer.
correct,
Yeah,
correct. It's the difference between kind of, you would say, what the money costs the bank and what they charge to the mortgagee, right?
right.
It's that spread, right? It used to be, again, about 175, customarily 2%. It's been about 3, but it's starting to get closer to that 2%. So that's brought down mortgage rates. Also, the Fed and all the talk about what the Fed's going to do with their rate next week, they're more than likely going to cut 0.25%, which is again the rate that the banks charge each other, more or less. And that's already baked into the mortgage rates. Anyway, all of this has created a situation where mortgage rates has been the lowest we've seen in, I don't know, since beginning of 23. Yeah, February of 23. So mortgage rates are in that low 6% range. And the thing that's interesting about that, just a month ago, I posted something on my social media about the forecasters and what they're expecting for mortgage rates through the end of 24 and into 25. None of them were predicting anything sub 6 until the end of 25. We're almost sub 6, right? And then
We're a
there's,
year ahead.
yeah, and of course it depends on so many factors on what the mortgage rates are, obviously your credit and your debt to income ratio and all that stuff. But rates are very good right now. And the thing that's really interesting, and we're starting to see more, just saw a national stat on the number of refinances.
Right.
Now it's making sense for somebody that maybe got one of those 8% mortgages when we were there.
Or
It
even low sevens.
Yeah, and it may make sense for them to now refinance. Refinances have been non-existent over the last couple of years, and now they're starting to come back in. So anyway, the cost of money is getting better, which is a big factor in the whole affordability challenge we have with housing right now. And so good news for housing.
Yeah. So Tego, I remember August, September 2022 is when our daughter bought her first house, and the interest rates had already jumped up from the three fours, and she ended up in the low fives, right? And that's been 2 years now. And that's that summer of 2022 when they started going up. So there's where we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just want to bring that up because that is good news. Tracy, we get a lot of questions. A lot of times, home buyers, first time home buyers in particular, but any home buyer, maybe if somebody hasn't done it in a while, like questions that just come up. And a lot of times, maybe they're not ready to reach out to a realtor. So we're going to deal with some of these questions that come up for home buyers
So
and answer some of those questions. So, first and foremost, is what can I afford?
Yes. And we hear that, don't we?
Yeah.
What can I afford? And one of the things that's interesting is not just determining how much house you can realistically afford, but it's how much you want to afford. A lot of times it's easier if we back into it from what's your monthly payment comfort, and then we get with a great local lender to figure out what you could afford based on the monthly payment relating to the home price.
Yeah.
Getting with a great local lender and partnering with them and us as your realtor partner. We're like the triangle of partnership that all gets together to find out what you can afford and what you're comfortable with.
Yeah. And what programs are out there for you as a buyer? And that leads into the next question is how much down payment do I need?
Our listeners know the answer to this, but 20% down payment is not the traditional down payment anymore. Many loan programs allow for down payments as low as 3 to 5%. And putting less down does mean you probably will have to pay mortgage insurance. But there are two loan programs for sure out there with no money down and no mortgage insurance on a veteran. So if you qualify for a VA loan, and then there's the USDA loan for outlying areas where it's a zero down program too.
Yeah.
So
So the USDA loan is for rural areas. So most of Valencia County,
But
some parts of Sandoval, some parts of Santa Fe County,
Torrance for
most of
sure.
Torrance.
Yeah, so there isn't a traditional how much down payment anymore. That's a wives' tale. That's an old stat.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, they'd like to do the 20% down. It is, if they can afford it, it is a financially a better decision, but it's not required.
Yeah. One of the things I want to add in there, Tigo, is a lot of people will say, call different lenders and find out what their rate is today. I think that doesn't make any sense, honestly, because rates change by the hour. You could call one lender in the morning and one in the afternoon, and they have different rates, and you decide to pick a lender because the rate was an eighth a point lower or something. But what a lot of people forget to look at is how much is that lender going to charge you to do the loan, right? Sometimes they don't realize that they're giving you a rate with some points attached to it to make it sound low, or that they charge a whole point for their fees versus some of our great local lenders who have very low cost of what they charge you to do the loan. So, really important.
And that really leads into the next question is what other costs should a buyer be prepared for when purchasing a home other than the down payment?
Sure. So beyond the down payment, there are some closing costs, right? It could be a couple percents of the purchase price, even depending on the loan program you choose and the lender you choose. But there's moving expenses, which a lot of people don't take into account when they're thinking about moving on your property or updating it, putting that fresh coat of paint on that you want, even though maybe the house was just painted. There are some inspection fees, right? So most of the buyers these days in our market are paying for their own inspections as a part of their due diligence when they're under contract. So that could be a full home inspection, could be a termite inspection, it could be a plethora of other inspections that are out there. But moving in's expensive too, right? Think about everybody and they go to Target and they buy the new doormat and the new shower curtain and the new
So exciting.
it's very exciting. So a lot of times there's just costs once you move in. But then there's homeowners insurance. When you're closing on a new property, they usually collect one full year for homeowners insurance plus a couple of months. So when it's due again next year, they have the money in an account ready to pay for it.
And that's the escrow.
That's the
They start the
escrow
escrow. Yeah.
and the property taxes. But you're going to get a credit for the current year against property taxes. But when they're due for the year, that'll be for you to pay for. So that's but besides down payments.
Yeah. Do you need a I think this is a really relevant question today because we know there's been a lot of changes in the way organized real estate is being practiced over the last month or so. If you've been following us, you probably know. But does a buyer need a real estate agent or a realtor to help them buy a home?
I know I certainly
I know we're very biased on this question, but I think we can, yeah, I think
yeah,
we're being,
or of course biased, but before you and I were in real estate, did we use realtors to help us buy or sell
of
homes?
course.
100%,
When
right?
we bought our office building, did we
We
use,
were both
we're
realtors.
both realtors,
We used a commercial realtor to help us buy our
correct?
office building. So a buyer's agent can be invaluable in guiding you through the process, especially a first timer, but even people who have bought before or sold before, it's all new. Do you have all the resources for all the vendors and all the contractors and people that you need? Have you looked through our what is it, 23-page purchase agreement, understand what all the implications are? I think there's a lot of handholding. And even for new construction, the major builders have their own contracts to go through, but we sit with our clients regularly through those and go through the contracts, listen in while the new home rep goes through them, and we can help negotiate those offers and navigate the paperwork.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know the next question is
Okay.
how long does the process take? You take that one.
Yeah, how long does the process take? So if you're buying a home, there's a lot of statistics about there how long you'll be looking online, right? Most people start their home search online now.
Right,
They go to
right.
Zillow, Realtor.com, our website. Yeah, go to our website. You know, they start looking for homes and, oh, yeah, that looks interesting. That looks interesting. They start saving them. There's been different stats over the years, like how long are you actually looking at homes online before you actually raise your hand or reach out to a realtor to really start engaging. So there's that step. So once you've said, okay, I'm ready, you start talking to a realtor, you schedule a look at homes, you do all that. Once you're under contract, meaning, okay, you've negotiated terms, you've decided on the price in all the terms, you're generally looking at 30 to 40 days depending on loan and other stuff and how quick inspections can happen to go to closing. And there's a lot of stuff that happens from that point you go under contract or pending, as we call it, till you're actually closed and take ownership.
And a lot of stress during that period,
Just
right?
a, just
All
a,
sorts of things. And when
just a little.
somebody like the lender asks you for something, they want it like yesterday, but you have life, right? You're at work and your kids need something and blah, 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 but they need it. One of the things though, Tego, that's interesting from my perspective because I still show homes to buyers. You're mostly doing our marketing and our behind the scenes operations and systems and being a voice to the world, right? Is a lot of times people, the first time I talk to them, I say, well, what's your goal? When do you want to be in your new house? And they said, oh, maybe 6 months from now. And I'm like, okay. And so we start doing that buyer consult. We talk about the process and the how to be ready to be a buyer and getting the lender in the process so that when you find the right house, we're already there. We don't have to go, oh no, does this payment cover? Are you comfortable? But we often see that people say, I'm sometime next year, 6 months next year, I want to buy a house. And once we teach them about the market and we show them their first three houses, very often they're ready to buy right away. They just don't know that it can happen very quickly. A lot of times they just assume that it takes a long time to be a homeowner, and it really doesn't have to.
Yeah, yeah.
So the last one is, what should I look for during home tours? And that's a good one because you and I look at homes very differently. You are details. You walk out of a house and you say, did you see that crown molding in the third bedroom and blah, blah, blah. And I go, no. What should we be looking at when we tour a home?
I think first off, and this is going to sound a little woo, but it's how does it feel? How
Right.
do you feel when you walk in the house?
And
You know,
that's what most buyers do. They decide really quickly. They walk in and the house speaks to them,
yeah,
right? And they said, well, I said I needed a 3 car garage and only has two, but that's okay. I said I needed blah, blah, blah. Doesn't have that, but that's okay. And they fall in love with the house. But then the buyer should go, how old is the roof? How old is the furnace? How old is the cooler? What things am I going to need to do?
and I think one of the things, and I think most people recognize this anytime they're shopping for anything, is make the list of your negotiables and non-negotiables. A negotiable might be, I'd like to have wood floors. I'd be okay with tile, right? A non-negotiable is be, I need 4 bedrooms, absolutely positively. It cannot have 3, right? So make that list. So some people it's pitched roof or no pitch roof. Some people it's HOA, no HOA. Swimming pool, no swimming pool. The list goes on and on.
And from showing lots and lots of houses over the last 22 years, even those non-negotiables go out the window sometimes when you find the right house and it speaks to you and they go, "Yep, it's okay. I can deal with this or I can change it later."
Make it,
And that's
yeah.
great because first people emotionally love the house and then we like to look at the bigger picture of what the house is really all about. So, that's the scoop.
That was yeah, good info. If you are thinking about buying, or you know somebody that's thinking about buying and they want to have a consultation, it's that's what we do. We sit down, go through your haves and wants, figure out what's going to work for you, connect you with a good mortgage person if you need to go down that route, and go through the process. We have a full consultation that we'd be happy to do with anybody. So, home values in Albuquerque, changing the subject, stats. I every month, Zillow releases a statistic called the Home Value Index, the Zillow Home Value Index. And what they do is they look at every single home, not just in Albuquerque, but actually in the entire country. But they break out the Albuquerque area and they give us a value of the typical Albuquerque home. And for August, it was my screen just went off right when I was about to say that. The value of the typical Albuquerque home was $335,583.
Not
I think there was
580,
there was actually
583.
cents on that too, and I cut those off.
Yeah.
And that's not what homes sold for. That's what if you took all the homes in the entire MSA, all 4 counties, that's what the typical home is worth, 335 and change. That's equal to a month ago. It didn't change at all from July to August. It did change 3.56% from August last year. So that's the year over year appreciation in home values.
3.56% increase year over year.
Exactly, exactly. So that
It's
just some context on that. I think it's important, and I wrote it down. Where did I put
I
it?
I
Here it
just
is.
wanted to
Okay.
say I think it's crazy that in this day and age we can have the average value of every house in America. The statistics and data we have is just incredible.
I point this out to people, and I don't they get the significance of it sometimes. The type of data we have today compared to what we had in 2008 when we went into the housing crisis, it's night and day.
Right.
We didn't have the visibility into what was going on in the housing market like we did back then, which
Like we didn't have back
like we
then.
didn't have back then.
Yeah.
Just one thing for comparison. So Albuquerque year over year home values increased 3.56%.
According to Zillow's statistics.
Exactly. And I will say that tracks with a lot of other data that I follow, price per square foot, the FHFA home value index, all the stuff I follow. We're right in that line, right? We're somewhere tracking around 3-4% year over year price appreciation, which the interesting thing is that's about the long-term average for Albuquerque is
Right.
in that,
If you just look at a 30-year chart. Yeah.
25 years. I've got an exact number for that. Over the past 25 years, home value on average, home values increased 3.92%.
And I could go into that because people say you went up 17% one year, but I'm like, okay, from 2008 to 2013 we were down.
Exactly.
So it all balances out. But
It
go
does.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I just one last thing I want to compare. So 3.56 year over year for Albuquerque home values, US 2.5%. So we're outpacing the country as a whole, which is interesting because Albuquerque, a lot of times, we're right in line with the national trends when you balance it all out. But of
Yeah.
course, that's millions and millions of properties.
So we've got to get to some homes of the week, but first I want to talk about something. So in my morning email, it said that they had rated all the 50 states for their happiness score.
How do we do?
And I thought we should be very high on the happiness score. We have a beautiful climate. We've got beautiful country. Our people are great. We have such friendly people. Again, we just had a client who moved here a few months ago, just raving about they go to the store and people are friendly and they just love it. We were like 47th on the happiness score.
Really?
I was sure we were going to be in the top 10, but I think we're happy. So anyway, but moving on.
I didn't see that
Homes of
soapbox
the
coming.
week.
Yes.
We have a couple open houses today, 1 to 3, 6302 Bald Eagle in Northwest Rio Rancho in the Hawk site, which is right by the Armory, 550 in Unser. It's just an exquisite 4-bedroom home there that's 1,900 plus square feet. It has owned solar, so your utilities. It has, of course, an electric car plug-in. It has a newer custom front door that's just gorgeous. You've got to get online and see the photos. 6302 Bald Eagle. It's got the high-end gourmet kitchen with a 5-burner stove and a beautiful custom hood, a separate wing from the main primary bedroom. The other bedrooms of the 3 are separate, so you've got that beautiful separation, but it's a 1-story. It's got mountain views from the backyard. Really great house. Open today 1 to 3. Call us if you need more info on it, 448-8888. That was 6302 Bald Eagle in Rio Rancho. We also have open house 11 to 3 today, 1608 Sunny Morning Northwest. It's in Storm Cloud, 2,535 square feet. So a big house, 435,000, which is a great price for that neighborhood. 1608 Sunny Morning, open till 3. Another one I just want to bring up, Tego. It's not open today, but it's 33 Gear in Sandia Park. It's in the Knolls on about a half an acre. It's a solitaire manufactured home on a permanent foundation, 3 bedrooms plus an office, really nicely recently upgraded. So it's 314,000. So if you're looking for your mountain getaway, look at 33 Gear Road. So
Okay.
that's my 3 homes of the week.
Yeah.
I whipped them
that's
out
great.
there.
That's great. This kind of leads into my next topic, what is the best in this story? It was what is the best week of the year to buy a home?
I bet it's soon.
Guess what? It's
Guess
soon.
what? It's like 2 weeks from
Realtor.com
now.
Realtor.com, which is one of the big national websites. They've got all the data of all the homes around the entire country. And they crunched the numbers and they said that the best week to buy a home nationally is September 29th to October 5th. So that week,
Balloon Fiesta.
yeah,
First, well,
yeah,
maybe.
basically, well, just before
I don't
Fiesta.
know
Yeah,
what
see, what
day
week is it?
is.
Yeah, I don't remember either. And I will say, it look, I wanna say something, Trish, 'cause
Okay.
it occurred to me when I was reading this story is I think we're in this perfect storm thing for home buyers right now. That's gonna sound silly, but let me just say it this way, and first and foremost, we never recommend trying to time the market. It's buy when you're ready, sell when you're ready. But I will say a lot of things have set up very good for home buyers right now, mid-September. Interest rates are the lowest we've seen in a year and a half. The number of homes on the market in Albuquerque is at the peak for the year, which means it's the highest we've seen since 2019. So the
Right.
number of homes available to purchase, the inventory is at a high number. And demand, I will say, is a little bit weak right now, which is normal for Albuquerque. It seems like every year, Tracy, State Fair comes around, Balloon Fiesta comes around, and it's just the activity just feels a little sluggish.
I was going to say it's state fair, but you beat me to it. It's interesting because a lot of our home sellers and they think that we'll get more showings during state fair and balloon fiesta because so many people are in Albuquerque, but it's never that way.
No, it
Does it
isn't.
mean we don't sell houses? No, we do. It's
Yeah.
just not like we don't get this huge influx and lots of extra people viewing
Well,
homes.
and I think we get viewing homes. You think about the parade of homes. I'm sure they're doing it
October.
again in October. Usually coincide with the balloon fiesta. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. There are opportunities to go look at homes, but I just think it's we've seen a lot of price reductions for homes that are on the market. I just think it's setting up really well for a home buyer if they've been waiting for something to happen. They want to buy, they've been just waiting, they've been mortgage rates, costs, all that stuff. It may be a time to get out there and reignite your home search. So I
Absolutely.
wanted to put that out there. And that's a I think we're out of town. We were gonna talk about a buyers and sellers market. We'll save that one for next week,
Sounds good.
and we'll get a little deeper into that and what that means. That's been a topic in the housing econ world that I follow online and read all the stuff and trying to figure out what is a buyer's market and a seller's market, and is there new definition? So we'll tease that one for next week, and we'll get into that. So
Well, as always, thanks for being our loyal listeners. Let us know how we can help you. We're still at 448-8888 and love to hear from you. And we'll talk to you again next week.
let me remind everybody our website, welcomehomeabq.com, all kinds of good stuff there. And you can always connect and message us through that website as well. And oh, like us on, no, let's see, like us on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. Appreciate that to get the message out. Take care.